have with me my colleague from Queens, Phil Ragusa. I'd like to welcome you all here today to a historic event as a new chapter in the great history of this city begins to unfold. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce to you a quintessential New Yorker, a man who has an only in America story to tell. John Catsimatidis came to this country when he was 6 months old when his family immigrated here from Greece. His father was a busboy who could never become a waiter because he didn't speak English. John is a graduate of the public school system here in New York City, attended NYU for a brief period of time before opening up his first grocery store.
I was only 8 credits short.
We don't need to tell you the success that he has made for himself and his family and for countless others here in New York. He is a true treasure of the city and someone who I know and believe will be a great mayor. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you our next mayor, John Catsimatidis.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Phil, for being here. And like Dan says, my parents brought me over here when I was 6 months old. We lived in Harlem on 135th Street, by City College. My father came to this country because the streets were lined with gold. And my grandfathers came to this country because the streets were lined with gold. And we have to rebuild our country and rebuild our city. And our city is lucky that in the last 10, 12 years, it's been going in the right direction. The world has confidence in our city. They have confidence in Mayor Blumberg. They have confidence in Commissioner Kelly. And tens of billions of dollars of money is flowing into our city, keeping our economy going, keeping our restaurants open, keeping our taxis moving, keeping our hotels full because of this confidence. This is an important election because if we go in the wrong direction at all, and that money dries up, and I'm not saying just a Russian that's buying his daughter an $80 million apartment, but this is the center of the world. And I'm not buying you an $80 million apartment, my daughter. This is the center of the world, and we have to maintain the world confidence. The money is rolling in from Russia, Europe, Asia, the Middle East. But it's not that I'm only a business person. I came from 135th Street. I never forgot where I come from. I'm not a Mike Bloomberg billionaire. I'm not wearing a $5,000 suit. I think my wife paid $100 for this jacket. Yeah, but I never forgot the kids I grew up with. I'm still friends with my grammar school friends. I'm still friends with my high school friends. I went to PS 192. I'm a product of the public school system. I went to PS 192. I went to Brooklyn Tech High School. I went to NYU, but I was 8 credits short. It makes my daughter the only Catsimatidis to actually graduate, and hopefully my son will graduate in the next 2 years. But I started as a store owner. I feel people's pain. I feel the store owner's pain in this city. I'm the same guy that still has some stores, and I get $7,000 a week in parking tickets for my trucks to deliver to my stores. Now there's no politician out there that realizes what's going on to our store owners. All the fines they're getting, what is that? That's hidden taxation. I feel the pain of the neighborhoods where people are afraid to go out at night. I remember, going out at night. And I got to tell you something else. I live on the Upper East Side, but there was times in the 80s before we changed administrations where I was afraid to walk from Fifth Avenue to Madison Avenue. Well, New Yorkers, we are not going back. And that's the most important thing you can believe in. We are not giving the streets back to the criminals. We will maintain, I think Ray Kelly has done a phenomenal job. I don't think the city can do without Ray Kelly. Whoever gets elected mayor, Ray Kelly should be there. And we're there to protect the streets from criminals and from whatever terrorism. I remember after 9/11, when I was going through the tunnels, and I got to the other side, I go, I made it. We don't want to go back to those days. We have the greatest city in the world. We don't want to give it back. People say to me, Republican, Democrat. My friend, and he's supposed to be here later, Tony LaBianco did the LaGuardia play. And he's going to do it again. I'm going to invite a lot of you to it. Fiorello LaGuardia was a great mayor. And it wasn't about being a Republican. It wasn't about being a Democrat. You know what it's about? Being a New Yorker that cares. And that's what I am. I'm a common sense New Yorker. Thank you. I'm a common sense New Yorker that cares about the people. I love people. I got my lessons, from a lot of people. One of the people I admired was Bill Clinton. He wasn't a Republican, but business people weren't afraid of Bill Clinton. He was pro-business. We all did well under Bill Clinton. What do we have to do? We have to move forward, and the problems we have in New York right now, jobs. We want to create jobs. You know what we do by creating jobs? Mayor Bloomberg has started that. He brought in biotech. He brought in other high technology businesses. And you know how you sell those people? I'll tell you how you sell those people. You sell them by what you want to attract. We brought in Google. You want to attract better people to these companies. If you opened up in the middle of nowhere, where you only have one restaurant, and you only have one theater, are you going to attract the biggest and best people for those jobs? No. You open up in New York, it might cost you a little bit more, but all those great employees want to work in New York. They want to go to Lincoln Center. They want to go to plays. Everything that New York offers. One of my dreams, I had a lot of people that I admired. And there's two types of people. And I've met them all running. I've been a CEO of my companies for 40 years. That's a long time. I only have a little bit of gray hair. Thank God I got a good barber. I admired John Kennedy. I was 12 years old, 14 years old, when he got up in front of everybody and with a brave thing, and he had a vision. Let's go to the moon by 1969. He hired hundreds of thousands of engineers and created real jobs. And we went to the moon. I admired Martin Luther King. He had a dream. He was a visionary. He dreamt about someday there'll be a black president. Well, thank God, his dream came through, and I admire him for dreaming it and visualizing it. My vision New York is the greatest place in the world. New York could be a little bit better. And that's what we all want. And what I want, New York has been great to me. It's been great to my family. It gave me a great wife, beautiful children, a great son-in-law. And we want to go one step beyond and see what is going to be the next step for New York. One of my visions I had, and I talked about it 4 years ago, 2014 is the 50th year of the 64 World's Fair. And I remember going to that World's Fair. I was 14 years old. I looked. I was 50, 11. I looked and I go, whoa, wow. All of you that are old enough to remember that, the big wow. Well, New York deserves another World's Fair. It creates jobs for our construction industry, our hotels, our taxis, our restaurants. That's what it's all about, creating. Being a visionary to create, not just being a maintenance person. Oh, we got what we got, and that's it. I want to thank my wife for being always next to me. Thank you, Senator, for being here.
Yay!
That's my wife, right? And my children for being here with me too.
Yay!
And look, I am what I am, but I want a better future for them and their children. And that's what it's all about. I don't give a damn about the money, you know that. I care about making New York better. I care about getting myself and saying, when I finish 4 years and say, you know something, he did a great job. Well, thank you for coming today. Thank you for being here. And God bless the city of New York. God bless America. Yes.
So how many employees?
Mr. Catsimatidis,
Yes.
You say that New York City needs to create jobs. How exactly would you create jobs? And then just another question. You said you would commit to spending $20 million on this campaign. Does that still stand?
You know, whatever you decide to spend on a campaign, you go in increments. You spend 5, and then you get pregnant, and then you spend another 5, and you get more pregnant. But whatever, you know, look, if it's going our direction, we'll spend whatever we have to spend. But like I said, it's an investment in New York, my investment in New York. And, you know, I have thousands of employees in New York. Most of our employees are outside of New York. But we have several thousand employees in New York that I want them to do well too.
The current mayor, John, the current mayor supports congestion pricing, gay marriage, the building of the mosque at Ground Zero, climate change.
Whoa, yeah.
Sorry.
You know, that's a lot. Why don't you go one at a time?
Sure. What's your position on congestion pricing, gay marriage, the mosque?
I was against congestion pricing, and even though I say that Mayor Bloomberg has done a lot of great things for New York, and I supported him, and I'm supporting him now. According to Mayor Koch, if you agree 70% of what a person does, you know, that's a pretty good batting average. But I was against congestion pricing, and some of these bike lanes, I think people are getting punished for voting against congestion pricing. And that's my position.
John, no. My question is that the person running against Joe Lora, can you tell me what is the temperament between you and Joe Lora?
What is the what, sir?
Temperament.
Well, I like Joe Lota. You know, we get along. He's a very fine person. But it doesn't have to do anything with me being a visionary and doing the great things for New York.
Joe Lora has the character to become the chief.
I don't know him that well. I've had dinner with him once, and he's a very qualified person. He's an accountant. He's a finance guy. But I have the temperament to be mayor of New York because I love all people, Democrats or Republicans.
You were talking about
Two questions.
Yes.
One is a follow-up to the last one. Can you explain to voters why you think you're a better candidate than Joe Lota? And two, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not you're actually going to go through and be on the ballot. Can you address any doubts that folks may have about whether or not you're going to...
I'm in it to win. I'm in it to run, and that's why I'm here. I would not be having this press conference if I wasn't in to win. All my life, I've been winning. Okay, I grew up on. I was 6 months old where I was born on a little Greek island. I could have stayed there being the largest sheep herder on the island. I lived on 135th Street where my father was paying $48 a month. I made it from that Greek island to 135th Street to the top of the business community. It's my turn to give back to the city of New York, and that's all I care about. And I'm going to work cheaper than Mayor Bloomberg, who's working for $1. I was a grocer. I worked for 99 cents.
Why are you better than Joe Lota? Why are you a better candidate than Joe Lota?
I'm a visionary. I'm not a maintenance person. I've hired tens of thousands of people, and I have very few visionaries. They're very hard to find. People that visualize what the future should be. Create a future. Create. And I have a lot of employees that maintain every day. They come to work and maintain. There's a difference between a visionary and a maintenance person.
we're talking about
And he's a very good man.
Catsimatidis, I was running the grocery business, qualifying for running the city.
Oh my God, sir. If you check my resume out, the grocery business, even though people say, hey, Catsimatidis the grocer, it represents about 4% of my companies. We run a very big oil company. We have 7,000 employees there. We run a very big real estate company. We're developing projects in Brooklyn. Grocery business represents only a few percent of it. I ran airlines. I ran corporate jet companies. I think I must have been CEO of maybe 20 different companies in maybe 7 or 10 different industries. So I've done it all. Thank you.
Catsimatidis.
Right here.
Two questions. Switching to the Republican Party for the Democrats.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago.
What makes you Republican? Did you just switch?
I'm a pro. No, absolutely not. We have to be in this city. I'm a moderate. In this city, you can't get the Democratic nomination unless you're extremely on the left. Hey, do I have issues that I'm on the left on? Yeah. Whatever. What do you want to? Gay marriage? Whatever. People have the right to do whatever they want. This is why people came to America. Am I pro-business? Am I pro-business? Yes. I believe I had mentors when I was young. They taught me, you know what they taught me on the west side of Manhattan? That the business community has to do well for the residential community to do well. So it's hand in hand. And that's where common sense comes in about, taking care of people. I remember a meeting I went to one time, they says, oh, those illegal immigrants are getting free health care, free at the emergency ward. I said, we're Americans. We take care of all people. We don't turn our back on anybody.
I understand George Pataki is supporting you.
I had lunch with George, with the governor, and we're good friends. I believe we might have a press conference in the near future endorsing.
Mr. Catsimatidis, you were talking about your admiration for JFK and for Bill Clinton, and you also said you thank God that Martin Luther King Jr. was a black president. Do you thank God for President Obama?
Well, that's a good question. I think, I did support Mitt Romney, and like I said, I was a Clinton Democrat. I thought that President Obama, the thing I disagreed with him most, that every morning I woke up, I was being attacked for being a successful American. Listen, Let's tell all the kids in every community, we're not going to attack them for being a success. We want them to be a success. I help run the police athletic league programs. And for 27 years with Mr. Morgenthau, we're out there trying to save these kids in all these neighborhoods. And you know why? Because we want those kids to be successful. Let's not tell these kids, it's if you're successful, you're no good. That's wrong. And I don't believe that we should be attacking our American industries. I mean, attacking our banks. If somebody did something wrong in the banks, listen to me carefully. Prosecute that somebody. Don't prosecute 280,000 employees in the whole bank. That's wrong. Prosecute individuals, not companies. Thank you, guys. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And look, whenever you need me, I'm always going to be there for you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Huh? I'm here. That's Holly. Family shot? Yeah. Chris, make sure Well, I do it the old-fashioned way. You know, my companies in New York were all union. I was a union man. I was a member of Local 338 until I had 3 or 4 stores, and the union came to me and says, well, you're a boss now, you can't be a member of the union. I said, what do you mean? Where do I get my health care? What do you mean I can't be a member of the union? You know what we do in the old-fashioned way? Is sit down in a room, you have both sides in, nobody can leave. Nobody can leave until...
John's camera.
I don't know what to say, babe. I don't know what to say.
He makes this announcement.
I just hope that John is successful in the way he presents his arguments. The city needs a fusion candidate. He's taking the LaGuardia approach, which I think the city and the whole country needs, which is the approach of you're both sides, you hire the best people for every job, you do the people's business, and you take a position of common sense and logic, which I know those seem to be foreign words in our society today, but facts are facts and they mean something. Thank you.
Tony, thank you.
All right, baby.